true fans of Bottle Rocket and people that just act like they like Bottle Rocket. There's a part in the movie where Owen Wilson is sitting in a car, and it's such a throwaway line. You can tell it's not in the script, and you can tell Wes Anderson. No, you can't.
I know exactly what you're saying.
You can tell Wes Anderson just basically said, "Oh, and I need you to just fill in some dialogue before Luke gets to the car and says what he's going to say." Because the big scene's about Luke delivering some news. So Owen's sitting in the car, and he's in the middle of talking, and he just says so flippantly, he's like, "Man, when I was a kid, I wanted to know where thunder came from." And then the door opens. He's like, "What?" And I want to hear about that story. Like, why did you want to know where thunder came from? Why are you talking about this? Man, God, when I was a kid, I wanted to know where thunder came from. And he just trails off. He always trails off in that movie. Owen Wilson he's like the most zen hippie ever. He's always just like, God, here we are, Fake Mustache Studios. I always thought there'd be more mics. You know what I mean? I just thought there'd be like, I thought there'd be a lot of snacks here and stuff. There's like Diet Mountain Dew. I thought there'd be a cappuccino maker. What is it with cappuccino? Gives me the farts. Yeah. He just trails out. Nothing ever makes sense.
Has he ever played like a doctor? Like he should play a role.
Oh yeah, he should
play a role where he has to deliver like super serious news.
If someone was like dying, he comes in. He's like, wait.
I say doctor, you leap right to oncologist with death news. Well played.
He walks in. He's like, all right, who's got the big C here? That's right, you do. Cancer. God, cancer is such a weird word. I mean, the way it's spelled, it should be canker, I mean, Cancun is Cancun. It's not can soon. I fucked a girl once in Cancun. Yeah, I bent her over the futon and went Zoolander. You know what I'm talking about? I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Canker. I can't do all. Can you do impressions right away, or do you work on them?
Michael Douglas I did right away because someone just said, you sound like Michael Douglas sometimes. Someone just said that to me. I go, really? Like, yeah. And then I just literally threw on The Game and just watched it. And I was in the Con production offices, and I literally just watched it like, dude, I'm going to start doing Michael Douglas. Like, Michael Douglas, like, but you got to do the chin.
You have a similar, like, I have a similar voice to Walken because of the East Coast.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll say things, even though this is just me, there's a touch of Walken in it.
Yeah.
So it's not that long of a leap.
Yeah.
To switch over. So you do have a little Michael Douglas-y voice.
Well, and the trick is you got to say as many 4-syllable words as possible for Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Because every word just feels like, like a really slow locomotive. He just be like, really appreciate you coming over. Me and my wife, Catherine, my father, Kirk, just had his 93rd stroke. He just literally just draws everything out.
Right there, right back there. Well, who just had a 93rd stroke?
Who had a 93rd
You'd think
stroke?
after 4 or 5, you'd tap out.
You think that'd be over? You think, you're that rich, you'd be able to take care of that.
When you have a stroke, does one side of your body tap out?
I think so.
So if you you should do Owen Wilson going, I don't understand it. Like one side of your body, then the second stroke, the other side. How many sides?
How many sides
are you like a Dungeons and Dragons die? Like are you a 16-sided die?
You're like a human Rubik's cube. You just keep switching around.
My wife.
My wife, my father, Kirk, sitting here with Jay Mohr. Favorite film of yours is definitely Paulie. Probably the greatest film of all time. Me and my daughter watch it. Just kidding, never seen it.
That's an amazing impression, bro.
You think so?
No, it's Michael Douglas.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's fun for me because people are yelling at me like, do Walken, do the, but so there are some you can do right away, but are there impressions that you work at? Because
I'm working at Michael Keaton right now. I won't do it right now because it's not ready.
You emailed me.
Yeah, because I asked you if anyone's ever done it.
Jim Downey, I couldn't do it in email because I was on my iPad and I can't type on it because there's no buttons. It's the tap shit and I can't. I'm like, bleh.
Yeah.
But Jim Downey from SNL could do Michael Keaton and all he did
really,
but he didn't do a voice. Just everything he looked at, he had to take his head. He had to
that, but that's good. That
purse his lip back, and purse his lips. Like whoa! Everything you're looking at is like whoa!
Yeah.
Like whoa! But there was no impression, so it's really horrible for a podcast.
Yeah, no, I love Michael Keaton.
Visuals. It's like on the radio when they go, "Let's get those hot chicks in here," and you're in your car going like, "Fucking!" They could be bringing in humpbacked men interns. I'm taking the word for it that all the Hooter girls are in here and they are hot.
Yeah,
and everybody falls for it. Like, well, you got a great body on you. Like Howard Stern's like, let me tell you something, Robin. You got a great body on you. Look at it. What are you, a C-cup, D-cup? And you're just sitting
in
your...
do that stuff anymore, though. Like he doesn't really do that.
So impression. There's some you work on and some you can do right away. Is what I'm getting.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, I'm in the middle of trying to think of some really. I mean, I never like to try and work backwards. Like I like to get inspired by one and go, I want to do this person because I like them. The biggest reason I choose someone is I try and choose people that nobody does. I really feel like I was.
There's no money in that. Let me tell you.
I know, but I feel like I was the first one to do Owen. Like, and then people started doing them. I felt like I don't know anyone.
I've never heard anybody do Owen Wilson before or Michael Douglas.
I don't know anyone that does Vince Vaughn. Like I try and go for like I like to do Bruce Willis. Like and like right now they're doing an In Living Color reboot, and I just made a tape.
Hold on, we are on the Smodcast Network.
I worked on Combat. You just got me excited.
And Bruce Willis, by the way, has been told to me by many people that will remain nameless as an actual walking fucking black hole of negativity.
Really?
Like an actual.
That disappoints me.
Well, it should, but regardless,
you understand how much I love him. That's one of the reasons that I could do him.
I know a lot of people that worked on many movies, and it's like an astounding just hole in the ether where souls go.
I guess you don't want to work with Bruce Willis anytime soon.
No, this is what people have told. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. You do a movie with him. You don't care if he's negative.
I don't give a shit. Fucking Bruce Willis, you motherfucker. I do a lot of fucking favors for you, don't I? See, I just started to sound like Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
So I realized I could do Ray Liotta, Skyler. I'm doing a lot of favors for you, don't I? You know who goes to jail, Karen? Nigger stick-up men. That's who go to jail because they fall asleep in the goddamn getaway car, Karen. I'm sorry. That was all the money we had, Karen.
No one does Ray Liotta. That's fucking great.
I cannot work on an impression. I can either do it or not.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm fascinated by you actually like working on me.
It's for the most part, I would agree with what you just said. But once in a while, because like right now, again, like my manager's like, just try and think of some more relevant impressions. So I'm making a tape.
You're like, why don't you think of some more fucking work you could throw my way? How about that? I'll bang out the Bruce Willis. You bang out the Jobs, a-hole.
He's a great guy. Actually.
Yeah, I just love the simplicity. Like when people go, you should do one of those Vietnam movies. You'd be real. Yeah, I'll get on it. I'm going to fucking write it, produce it. You know what, Jay Mohr? You'd be really good in like a period piece.
Dude, my grandpa, like, God rest his soul. My grandfather, George, he literally used to
Laugh
call
Factory veteran.
That's right. He used to, were you there that night?
No, you sent me a link.
My grandfather used to call me every Monday, no fail. I swear to God. It would be.
That was Owen Wilson right there.
I swear to God. He'd call me, say to me. So he'd call and he'd be like, Skyler, Grandpa George here. You gotta throw on CBS tonight. I just watched 2.5 Men. It's a scream. Like he'd say that. It's hysterical. He always had these old man terms for what's funny. He goes, it's a hoot.
I had a whale of a time today, son.
No, he go, it fractured me. Like, it fractured me.
Whale and bear are the two old man standards. Like, oh, I had a bear of a sales conference today. Oh, we went to Virginia Beach, had a whale of a time.
Every week, he wanted me to watch it. But I've always wondered, like, if he was still alive, how disappointed he would, because he loved Charlie Sheen. I just wonder, like.
Do you do Charlie Sheen?
Say what?
Do you do Charlie Sheen?
No. And I've heard Jimmy Fallon do it, and I don't think Jimmy Fallon sounds like. Have you heard his? It sounds like he's doing. It sounds like another Oh man, I wish I could. It sounds like a total another celebrity. It sounds like Johnny Carson. Have you heard it?
Can you do Johnny Carson?
Everybody does, and Damon did it the best.
I love when the Sklar brothers do dueling Carsons.
I've never seen that.
It makes me very happy.
They're very funny guys.
It's so nonsense. It's amazingly fun.
That's funny.
Like dueling, and that is wilder than.
Can you imagine how much funnier they'd be if they were a monster, like you were talking about the last time?
Sidetrack.
If they were connected.
All right. But let's get to Bruce Willis impressions. Okay. We got to bang out these impressions.
Well, the problem with Bruce Willis is, again, this is another one that's very, very physical, like Michael Keaton. But like, a lot of it's just doing the. You got to do a little smile. You got to look at them. Hey, Mama, you want to get shit?
Why? I've noticed.
It's hard to do it.
I'm going to tell you off the air. I'll tell you right now.
What?
You, for some reason, you lack a confidence in your impressions, and there's no reason for Owen Wilson to be fucking a girl on a futon, and you were just then Bruce Willis was going to have a girl like tongue his ass or something. I saw it coming.
Yeah.
Like your impressions are so good.
Why go blue with it? Right. That's what
and I'm super dirty all the time.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't sell walking out by going, I'm gonna finger your ass.
But see, it's funny.
It is funny, but like. I want your impressions are so...
But why do people always do that? Why does everybody say you don't have to go blue? But what if you just want to? What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's easy. But with your impressions, like Owen Wilson, that would if you're doing an impression of a guy, this is my opinion, and take it with a fucking grain of salt. Who gives a shit what I think? I'm begging to play the Ontario Improv, for Christ's sakes. If you're doing an impression of Charlie Sheen, who I got hookers everywhere, man. She's a fucking human being, man. That was a bad Charlie Sheen.
That's not bad.
I was trying to do Platoon.
That actually wasn't bad.
Nothing can kill Barnes but Barnes, man.
It's not bad. It's better than Jimmy Fallon's.
It ain't good. And as me and Barry Katz said, we're not in a pretty good business.
That's true.
You got to be perfect.
That's good.
And if you're perfect, man, get a helmet. So, but like Owen Wilson would never be like fucking a girl on a futon. Like, but in my opinion, if you're doing an impression of a guy that like Russell Brand talking about all the different ways he like bounced Kate Moss across his face and cock, like have at it.
Yeah.
But like your impression of Michael Douglas is so perfect that when you didn't do anything dirty with him. But like Owen Wilson is so perfect that when you fuck someone on a futon, it takes me out of the impression.
Right.
Because I'm there with you on the journey of how real, and like I see Matt Cohen, the producer and engineer of the podcast, he's not looking at you. He's closing his eyes and he's nodding his head with a grin like, this is fucking insane. And then as soon as you bang someone on a foot, like I'm fucking a girl and
he's picturing who he fucked last. Yeah.
No, it's just like, well, we're obviously out of the impression now because that's not
right.
But that's my.
No, I agree with that.
Basically, I'm trying to give you the highest compliment possible. Of these impressions are so good.
Thank you.
Do that guy all the way through. Don't take a deep. You when you do your stand up, you fuck people in futons.
Right.
You keep baby wipes.
Well, I got to think. Then I need to think of a Bruce Willis scenario. I guess I don't have like a really good scenario for it.
I say on stage sometimes, or on the Jim Rome show, I said it. And by the way, clones, I've seen all your comments on iTunes. You guys are awesome. Hey, Slammy. Him and Demi Moore now just share a voice. Like, hey, welcome to the party, pal. You know, I think me and Ashton are going to get a divorce. Hey, welcome to the... I don't do Bruce Willis, but welcome to the party, pal. And Demi Moore's like, you know, it just ran its course. Like, they just have both these weird man voices. They're both such men.
No, I think you're right. And especially if I want to get these impressions on TV, which is the goal. I tested for SNL once. I wasn't as lucky as you. I didn't get on it. But I tested like years ago for it.
And you asked me for advice. And
you had the greatest advice
ever. You didn't follow it, and you didn't get the job.
Can I tell you his advice? This is fantastic advice. Literally, well, I tested once, and then another time I made a tape, and they didn't test me the second time, and I was very upset. I'm like, but they tested me before, and like I heard Jimmy Fallon's tested twice, and then he got it. And like,
was that your Shatner?
Before
they tested me before.
I would never do Shatner. I would never do Shatner, Woody Allen, Nicholson, Leno. None of the fucking.
I don't mean to be didactic, you know, but
Skyler
Stone, so like a name out of a Runyon novel, you know, so like who names the kid Skyler? You know, sort of like, someone lives in Montana, you know, sends their kids to school in Wyoming.
That's like Woody Allen meets the little boy on Family Guy. You keep doing Family Guy stuff today.
The little boy, who?
The little baby,
Seth Green.
No, the little baby.
Oh, hooray, Dad! Oh yes.
What was I talking about?
You were talking about your tape for SNL.
Oh, so I made a second tape, and it was full of impressions, and like very light on original characters. No, actually, it was all impressions, wasn't it? There wasn't any.
All impressions.
And so Jay writes back.
But there was a bad impression up front.
Which
and
one?
There was one you've abandoned. I forget. It was like the second impression in. I'm like, I don't think you got that.
Oh, you didn't like
one.
Eminem.
I don't even know. I was like, yeah.
You didn't like Eminem. I don't think you like Seth Rogen. Or maybe you did like Seth Rogen. I can't remember.
No, Seth Rogen and Eminem. I'm like, you're just kind of wearing a wig. You're not really.
Oh, fuck. Oh, you called me out big time. I just threw on a blonde wig and I started crying and acted like Lindsay Lohan. But I didn't look, sound, or...
I think you're just kind of wearing a wig.
Yeah, you actually called...
And they have wigs
there.
there.
You go, Skyler, there's better humor on cable access.
And I said to you, and they have wigs there. You kind of got to show up.
No, the best line you said...
You have to show up with something they want to put a wig on.
Dude, yeah. No, the best thing you said, though, and this is... If I ever make a tape for them again, I'm going to listen to this. You said... You go, look, Lorne Michaels is in the business of making Saturday Night Live work and making money. And he wants movies and shows to come off the show. And you said he wants to sell things in the gift shop at 30 Rock. And he goes, he can't sell your Vince Vaughn impression on a mug at the 30 Rock gift shop. You remember saying that?
Yeah.
And you were like, you need your Molly Shannon, you need your superstar character, you need your Mary Catherine Gallagher.
They can't make the Vince Vaughn impression movie.
Yeah, exactly. They feel like they'll just go get Vince Vaughn. Yeah.
You and I at the Ontario Improv one night. No, I think it was Hollywood Improv, one of the improvs.
When we did our impression off?
You did Vince Vaughn as the bouncer, and I was Pesci trying to get into the club. Do you remember that?
Yes, it was Irvine Improv, yeah.
What do you want?